Welcome to DC Velocity's Thought Leader series, produced in conjunction with MHI. My name is Mark Solomon. I'm a senior editor at DC Velocity magazine, and we are happy and pleased to be joined by Jimmy Wales, who, if you don't know, is the founder of Wikipedia, which virtually everybody knows. And he's an eminent futurist, visionary, and wiki pioneer. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thanks for having me.
Wikipedia may be history's greatest collaborative effort. Maybe it's
largest, probably.
Largest, could be.
Yeah.
What was the mindset in getting people to contribute their time and knowledge on a voluntary basis?
Well, before I started Wikipedia, I'd been around on the internet for a while, and one of the things that impressed me was how many people were willing to devote a lot of time helping strangers, discussing what they knew, sharing knowledge, having discussions, debates, and so on. And so I thought, gee, you know, as all this energy is going into all these discussions everywhere, and you can email almost any professor, and if you ask a nice question politely, they'll email you back in some detail. Wouldn't it be great if all of that kind of effort were put into something that could be more permanent, that could be building something? And that was one of the first thoughts I had that led eventually to the creation of Wikipedia.
Okay. Are there lessons from the creation and evolution of Wikipedia that companies can take and use themselves?
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of things that I've learned from Wikipedia. I think have a lot of impact on a lot of different kinds of organizations. So one of the fundamental concepts of Wikipedia is that talent is more widely distributed throughout the community at large, throughout society, than people realized. So there are a lot of really talented people out there who know a lot about a lot of different things, even if they don't have the credentials or any sort of professional position in that area. They've made it a hobby and they know a lot about it. This will be true in any enterprise, that there are people you have on staff who have vast knowledge about something that may have very little relation to their day job, but could have some bearing on something somewhere in the company. And so the idea where you try and empower people to bring to bear all of their experience, all of their knowledge on creative solutions for the company is very, very powerful.
Does that mean that managers, executives need to embrace more of a bottoms-up model to their business and less of a top-down model?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the number of businesses that can function in a top-down command and control way is far less than ever before. And even the ones that you might think still are that, still there's great opportunities for them if they are willing to listen, willing to let ideas bubble up from anywhere in the company. I think it's really the flattening of the hierarchy that everybody's aware of, but it's also about the unleashing of the creativity and bringing more minds to bear on whatever challenges you might face.
If you were to consult with a company in this industry after, let's say, you got a grasp of what it is they do, would there be certain very broad messages that you would impart to them?
Well, I mean, one of the big messages that I would have is that the internet will continue to be a disruptive technology across all kinds of industries that haven't yet necessarily been directly impacted. So we're seeing things like in the chauffeured car hire business, the rise of Uber has been incredibly disruptive for people who are running small, mom and pop chauffeured limo services. We'll see all those kinds of disruptions where middlemen are suddenly done away with because the individual, let's say truck drivers or whatever, can suddenly offer their services as freelancers in a much more convenient, much more efficient way. This is going to have a lot of impacts for a lot of different parts of business. There are other things, a lot of ideas around the Internet of Things, a lot of ideas around things like driverless cars or just automation in general, which are going to have big impacts on the way factories are run and so forth. A lot of that's not, I'm not saying anything surprising and new. People see these trends coming, but I think not everybody's really fully absorbed that these trends are very real, and they're coming very fast, and the business is going to change a lot in the next few years.
How do you expect Wikipedia to change in the next few years?
Well, I mean, for us, the biggest changes that we see, we're trying to make it easier for more people to edit. So we've got a lot of software, investment in the software. But the biggest changes, I think, are going to be things that are not really visible to most people. The growth of Wikipedia in the languages of the developing world is a massive trend for us. But if you're just sitting here in America using English Wikipedia, you're not going to notice that there's this massive thing going on in the African languages and the Indian languages, and Kazakh Wikipedia is booming and things like that. But it's going to have a huge impact on the world.
The word innovation is used a lot. In fact, some would say it's overused and has a vague connotation. In the world of organizational behavior, what do companies or managers who have been trained in a certain way of doing things need, how do they need to innovate to thrive in whatever it is that's coming at us in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really broad question, but I think people really do have to be flexible. They have to stay on their toes, be aware, be adaptive. Some of the bigger trends, I think, to keep an eye on would have to do with decentralization of power inside organizations. Again, old command and control models of management are breaking down and quicker than ever before. That's no new trend, but it's really here with us today. And, there's still a lot about shifts in technology that are yet to be exploited. And so it depends. I mean, obviously, to have a specific idea, you've got to be very specific about what business and what technologies. But just as a general principle, everybody has a mobile device in their pocket that has GPS and a camera and so on. That's got huge implications for all kinds of things. And it's changing consumer expectations. I live in a big city, central London, and when I go on Amazon, it's quite common that if I order something by 9 a.m., they'll have it to me by 5 p.m. That's a complete shift in my expectations. And so if I go to some e-commerce platform and they say, yeah, it's great, would you like expedited delivery? We can have it there in 1 week. I'm going to say, 1 week? How is that expedited delivery? Consumers expect to be able to get something they order online tomorrow. And that is, a fundamental shift that is obviously has massive repercussions throughout the entire supply chain.
Okay, thank you for joining us, sir.
Right, super.
Okay.